Yo, what's up, everybody? So today I'm going to talk about why product is the most important thing for your coaching business. Even if everybody out there is telling you that, you got to sell, you got to get clients, you got to get good at sales. Important, there's a place for everything. But at the end of the day, if you don't have a good product, you won't survive long term. Okay. Now, let me talk about the nuance a little bit more in this video. But before we get started, my name is Guido. If you don't know who I am, welcome to my channel. Please leave a subscribe and like if you like videos about basically how to get to 50K per month with your coaching business by implementing DM setters and AI systems. So if you're interested in that, just subscribe and I'll send you more of these videos for free. So let's get into it. The most important thing about product is that if you look at most other industries that are a little bit older, so they have more competition and basically have a different way of looking at business, that it's more old school. Product is the most important thing, really. Like in most industries out there, especially like local businesses, you don't have a lot of competition locally. Like most people are not very good locally in terms of their marketing, so you don't have to market that much for you to get results. The thing though is that you won't have people coming back if your product is not good. So instead of focusing on marketing, most people just focus on their product more in those other types of businesses. And another example is, for example, software companies. In SaaS, you have to have a good product. Like you can have these beta launches and alpha launches and everything like that, funding series and all that. If you don't have a good product, people are not going to stick around. Like there's even a type of marketing called product growth, product led marketing, that basically grows your business based on the quality of your product, which is crazy, right? But it's not, because that's really the business. Like at the end of the day, business is making an offer to somebody of a promise. More than an offer, offer is a promise to them that this type of outcome will come, and then your delivery is the responsible for making that promise come true. And so if you don't have a good promise, then it doesn't make sense. Now here's a caveat: if you're under 100K, I wouldn't focus on trying to productize your delivery that much. You do need some structure, but you also want to learn what product to create in the first place. So I wouldn't obsess about this too much and forget about sales. But if you're learning new skills in order to deliver your offer, then it could be a good idea to not get any clients for a while, stick to 3 clients, just work with them, get them results, and then use that as testimonials, of course, but also use that as a way to prove that your product works. That's what I did. That's what I didn't do in the past, and that cost me my businesses in the past. So let's get into it. Let me get into the explanation of why that is, and then what to do instead, depending on different situations, right? So let me share my screen. Awesome. So there are 3 main reasons why product is the highest leverage activity in your business, right? Especially as you go beyond 50 and 100K per month. Reason number one, or yeah, let's start with reason number 3, which is the least important, is it basically increases your long-term value and your testimonials, right? And what does that mean really? Because, a lot of times people think of long-term value and it's like, well, I have no idea. Well, first of all, you're not tracking, right? But I have no idea what that is, or, how I can increase that at all. They don't even know what that means. What it means is basically just making sure that when you acquire somebody, they're actually a lot more worth it to you, because in the back end you have something to sell them, right? And I'll get to that in a second of what to sell at each stage. But that allows you to spend more to acquire customers without worrying about going bankrupt, right? Because the back end is going to pay for it, and because of that, you're going to make more money, right? And you can acquire more customers, which would make you more money, makes the product better, and over and over and over, right? It's like a flywheel effect. And obviously, on top of that, you also have more testimonials, right? So you're going to be able to collect more testimonials from people because you're going to get better results. You're going to be more hyped about your product. And also, that will put into long term value, right? Which is renewals and stuff like that. So that's reason number 3. Reason number 2 is it decreases your cost of acquiring a customer, which I kind of mentioned that already, but for a different reason, right? Like the CAC cost, typically people think about that in terms of like numbers, like very binary, right? Like you put $1 in, you get X amount out, and then you have the ROAS. That's it. That is true, right? But as we know, as you scale the campaign, your cost will go up in terms of cost per lead, cost per impression, everything like that, because you're reaching saturation. And on top of that, there's a hidden cost that most people don't think about. And it could either work against you or in your favor, right? So one would be a cost and the other would be actually a benefit. Yeah, whatever you want to call it. But basically, it's the invisible word of mouth, right? So I learned this concept from Alex Becker, but basically, if you have enough clients, enough customers that have gone through your program and all of them think it's bad, what do you think is going to happen, right? Your ads are going to reach this community of people. Typically, it's this online space as a coaching business, right? And people are going to ask other people what they think when they see your ad. And those other people that have gone through your program will discourage them of joining your program, right? So you never see that, right? The ad doesn't tell you, oh, 5 people didn't click on your ad because they had heard bad things about you, right? But that is going to happen because your product is bad, right? But the other way around also works. If your product and your delivery is incredible, people are going to talk about it. They're going to shout about it, and they're going to tell others. And even if they don't post it publicly, they will tell their closest to them. So those same people that would have said no because of the negative reaction, they will say yes even more easily, right? Which decreases your cost per lead because they heard good things about you. And but all this is working behind the scenes. And you can only trust on the fact that word of mouth has been one of the most important marketing processes or systems in the world, like since the beginning of business, right? For a reason. It's because that's really the foundation of business is I tell you that this guy is good and you go there because of me. Ads is just a way to circumvent that, but eventually you're going to run out of people. So another main big very huge reason to make an incredible product, and that's also the right thing to do, like I guess I could add a bonus one here as at the last, but it's the right thing to do, right? It's like, imagine if you paid for something. I'm sure you've paid for programs out there that's like, they're okay, they're not amazing, they helped you here and there, but you weren't blown away, and those are okay. But then you have those bad programs that are even detrimental. They make you lose time, and that's just it's just not fair. It's not right to do that. And those people are going to lose long term. I know that the market will know will replace them with others, and it will just happen. So even if it's not like, let's put the morals aside, right? It's not a good business move to do. It's still not the right thing to do in terms of morals, right? Like, if you want to bring somebody on, you want to be as likely to get them to their outcome as possible, right? It's probably really hard to get a 100% success rate, but maybe you can get there, right? By even like refunding people that you can't get results right away as soon as they join, right? So that's pretty much it for that, right? Last one that is also very important is it affects everything else. Obviously, we already talked about testimonials. That's going to affect your marketing, right? People are going to be more excited. The people in the testimonials are going to have better energy, which influences people better, so they come more excited to the call, right? But also your sales team is going to fall in love with the product, right? They're going to see that you're relentlessly and tiredly like working on the product every single day to make it better. So they're going to feel excited. They're going to see the testimonials coming in and people like changing their lives. They probably already sold for other businesses that didn't have like great products, and they knew how people reacted. But in yours, somehow people just are amazed by it, right? And maybe they even consume the content and they see that it's incredible. And then because of that, their conviction will go up, which is the most important thing in sales, is your conviction, right? How you come across, your identity. And you can't fake it, right? It's just not possible. You need your sales team to believe in you through and through and believe in the product through and through in order for it to work at the best of its abilities, right? At the most, they will just be what I call a cashier close, which is basically like, hey, you want to buy, and then dip, buy, did, right? There's no objection handling, nothing, and that's just not the best closer you want to have. So those are the main reasons, right? But now, what is a solution, right? A lot of people can also fall into the trap. Me myself, I've done that, which is to just work on the product relentlessly, even though it's already good enough to get it out there, right? But my perfectionism makes me want to keep working on the product, because I know I can make it better. You can always make it better, right? But the best way to make the best improvements that again are going to give you the best returns for your client results, which is ultimately the metric you're looking for, right? Which is client results. Like the metric that is most important is client results, right? And because of that, you need to fix the constraints that are going to get you closer to better client results as soon as possible. So you could fix everything, but the best way to know what to fix is to just talk to more people that go through your program. That's it. So if you have 10 clients, you can build a very strong foundation, right, of a product, but eventually you're going to have to scale and you're going to have to change your product a little bit to go from one-on-one to group, probably, right? And because of that, you're going to need to learn how to deliver that well. The only way to do that is to get more clients. So you got to get more clients regardless, right? And again, worst case scenario, you can just refund them, right? If you're really doing a bad job. Um, But at the same time, a lot of people take this too far as well, and in another direction, which is now they start creating backend products, right? And I understand that, right? Like, and I'm not saying that backend product is a bad thing, and I think people have different methodologies on this, but I personally think that the Hormozy approach of like one channel, one product, one approach, and one sales process is a lot simpler for, and it's better to do that as long as possible because that will give you a better way to, it just keeps everything simpler. One addition or one extra channel is just going to, not going to double the complexity, but actually going to exponentially increase it. So it's not a good idea. So what I like to do is, instead of doing masterminds, and here are my reasons why, I don't like masterminds, and instead you I'd rather have you do continuation offers. That's my opinion, right? So if you're under 100K per month, so the reason for that is because masterminds can be a distraction. It's literally an entirely different product. Typically, masterminds are not like, hey, let's keep doing the same thing. It's like, hey, let's solve the next problem, right? And the problem with that, in my opinion, is that that's a whole other client journey. It's, in a way, you could see it as a whole other business without the acquisition process. Although, the graduation calls of the initial program are an acquisition process, but that doesn't matter. So because of that, it creates this complexity that is really not needed. And as long as you can push that away and focus on the main product, I believe it's better. So you can decrease complexity, right? And so I do believe that it's best just to focus on your main offer and maximize that first, right? What does that mean? Means if you're charging anything less than 5K, that's what you should be working on. Like, forget about backends, right? If you're charging less than five, you need to charge more, right? You need to recreate your offer, refine it for a very specific avatar to get it to a place where it's between 550, 558, ideally, all the way up to 88 or even higher, right? Depending on your target. But if it's for B2C, that's kind of the range. If you're not doing that yet, you got to go back to your offer, make your offer more attractive, give more months, give a bigger promise, right? Better guarantees, whatever you have to do, right? To increase the offer value so that people actually want to pay that higher price, right? But the thing is that with higher prices, also it requires you to be better at sales skills, right? It might not be the case because your offer will kind of sell itself as well, the higher end, but you will still need to handle more of objections, which is a good thing because now you just have to train sales in order to make that work. So if you increase your price to 6 to 8K and you become really good at objection handling and sales, you can sell that like nothing, and you just need to close 4 a week and you get to 100K. That's it. That's a lot easier to change, right? So I would focus on that first: customer experience, offer, price, on those three things until you get a perfect combination. And you yourself selling it as a founder, I wouldn't hire a closer just yet in order to get it to maximize that before you even think about, any kind of masterminds or anything like that, right? And then you can just push more, in terms of traffic to get that offer more. So you don't even need to do the mastermind at that point. But there's one issue, right? And the issue is that if the program is 3 months, 4 months, 5 months, or even 6 months, right? Sometimes it's a year, but regardless of how long it is, it ends at some point. And the problem with that is that you worked this hard to get, a new client, and you worked really hard to get them results, right? Which you should, but then they're gone. So it's like, well, did I just waste my time? Like, I made money, sure, but I'm not getting anything extra, right? Sometimes that's not an issue, but I do think that's a missed opportunity. But the thing you don't want to do is to create a mastermind. That's what I would not recommend. Yes, it is more profitable, but it's a different product, right? It's called back end for a reason, right? It's another end. I know that's not a good joke, but whatever. So what I would recommend instead of a upsell or an ascension offer is a continuation offer. What is the difference? Is that an ascension or an upsell offer is more so something that is a new product, right? The next problem or a bigger problem or whatever it is, right? Whereas a continuation offer is just continuing what you did in the first few months and just continue to help them with that, right? And so the best way to go about that is to charge 10 to 33%, 10 to 30% of the original price value. So if it's $5,000, it would be $500 all the way up to 1,000, more or less. I wouldn't go above 1,000 for continuation offers in general, depending on the niche, but around 10% is like a little bit more appropriate, and then you can always raise it, right? But with that, you can offer that at the end. So the graduation call, which is at the end of the 3 months, 5, 6, whatever was the length of your program, You hop on a call with them, you ask them if they have any questions, solve any last concerns that they might have, right? Congratulate them for finishing the program, ask them for feedback, get a testimonial, and then propose keep working together for a much lower amount, but just reinforcing the things that they learned, right? Because there's always a component of your product or delivery that should be ongoing, right? Typically, that's the case, right? So to not lose your current customers at the end of your coaching program, you create that continuation offer with the same deliverables uh, for 10% of the original amount, and they can cancel anytime, right? And this is also very important. Same deliverables. It just means like same thing you were doing before. Instead of having step one, step two, step three, which is across time, right? You're probably just going to have pillars instead to sustain things, right? And those should be exactly very similar to what you were doing before, right? So keep the accountability going, keep the group coaching calls going, maybe one-on-one per month, something like that, that keeps giving them value. And you need to have a clear purpose for why that is the case and why they cannot just go their own way. Now they could, right? We don't want to force people, but a lot of times people forget things, and it's always better to have it, even if it's just accountability. It's a lot better. And you can also keep asking questions, right? So if the person still has things to teach you, it could be the client is, likely to keep working with you if you still have things to teach them, right? So that's pretty much it. That's why, one, product is the most important thing in business, and you should be working on that. Two, but don't let that stop you, right? You need more people in your program in order to make your product better. And three, if you do want like another product in the back end to not lose people, don't do masterminds. Just do a continuation offer, which is the same thing you were doing in the beginning, just repeating itself. So it's easy to deliver, same as everybody else. And so that fixes the biggest problem in coaching models, which is the fact that you have a limited amount of time with the person and then they're gone. So that's pretty much it. Hope you have an amazing day, and hope this is helpful. If it was, please subscribe. What I do is help people place DM setters and grow with AI systems. So if you need something like that, feel free to message me on Instagram, and happy to help out and ultimately bring somebody onto these videos if you feel like it's valuable. And I'll post as much as I can. So have a great day and hope that helped.